The following podcast contains spoilers and words like piss, shit, and fuck. We watch the thing. We watch the thing. Hello, good people, and welcome to We Watched a Thing with B. Dizzle and Dave. How you doing, buddy?
I am good. How are you?
I can guess that you're going to be good because you saw a great movie this week, didn't you?
I saw a long movie.
One of the few people in the world, apparently, because this thing is flopping big time.
Yeah, it's in good. Everything's doing shit at the moment. The fucking Elementals is bombed horrendously at opening. Unsurprised. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. I have zero interest in it. The trailer looks shit. Pixar are phoning it in these days, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, no, this is not doing well.
It makes me sad. It makes me a bit sad. The good news about this bombing is that hopefully this will overtake John Carter, and then that will no longer be the biggest box office bomb of all time, because it shouldn't be.
This is true.
So we are a little bit late on the episode this week due to reasons and whatnot. But you know what? I kind of don't worry about it because I don't think many people saw this movie like I thought they were going to. So let's get into it then. The Flash is a 2023 American superhero film based on the DC character of the same name, produced by Warner Brothers Pictures and DC Studios. It, of course, is the 13th installment of the DCEU. Did you
Jesus Christ.
I didn't realize there were that many of them. In my head, there's
snuck up, didn't they?
6 of them.
Are they counting the fucking Snyder Cut as about four movies?
It's directed by Andy Muschietti from a screenplay by Christina Hodson, and it stars, of course, Ezra Miller, Sasha Calle, Michael Shannon, Ron Livingston, Maribel Verdú, and Michael Keaton. And what is it about, Dave?
Borrowing very, very liberally from the 2011 classic comic story Flashpoint, we follow red-clad hero as he decides to use his powers to go back in time and fix things that he thinks were wrong, and make the world a better place. And of course, everything goes utterly fucking tits up pear-shaped, and he has to try and mop up the mess.
Yeah, basically. Were you excited for this movie? I know that neither
Nope.
of us are... No, okay.
Look, I did see a trailer only a couple of weeks ago and was surprised that it actually didn't look that bad. I mean, some of the effects looked a little ropey, but there were some things in it that I went, oh, okay, well, that might be kind of cool. And you've got Michael Keaton saying, you want to go nuts, let's go nuts. So, I wasn't excited, but I was sort of cautiously almost optimistic. Yeah.
I actually had not high hopes, but, I think in retrospect, high-ish hopes. I hadn't seen any trailers for this film. But I am a Flash fan. You and I have spoken recently about, we both went through comic collecting phases. In fact, I just went through my comics, my big long boxes this week, because I'm going to take them in to sell them because I don't read them anymore. And at least half of those are Flash comics from just before this Flashpoint period. It was 2009, 2010 was when I was big into, the every single issue every week.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm a big fan of the Flash, and I had cautiously high hopes for this film. The main reason I had high hopes is just the fact that they hadn't canned it. I really thought that DC must have...
If it was even moderately shit, surely they would have just thrown it out with the bathwater.
That's the thing. I mean, they scrapped Batgirl, which also had Keaton in it, so it's not like they were releasing this just because of
early reports on that were not good, though.
But, I mean, with all of the controversy around Ezra Miller of late, I couldn't believe that this wasn't canned. There's no reason for this film to exist or be released, to be honest.
From what I understand, either Gunn or Safran or both have said this is the bridge between the DCEU and the DCU.
Having seen it, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a
I'm
sec.
not sure how, but unless
I mean,
and
let's get into spoilers.
Let's
straight off the
just
bat.
say, there's going to be spoilers galore in this. There's no way to talk about it without it. So,
and I think the biggest spoiler: are you telling me that moving forward, Clooney is Batman?
Well, I don't know.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
Well,
so
we know
let's
it's not.
pretend
We
that
know
this
it's
is the
not
bridge.
Affleck.
But because that's the only
But Sasha Calle is super. She does have more to come as Supergirl. So
but that was a different universe anyway.
Well, true, but maybe that's what they mean. Maybe this is because let's face it, and we're jumping kind of to the end, so we'll do that and then we'll backtrack to the beginning again.
Okay, yeah.
But just like the Flash, we're bouncing around in time. So Barry fucks everything up, goes back, seemingly fixes it, but ends up having changed shit anyway.
Yeah.
And so maybe what he's done is create the DCU.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's what they're alluding to is this is their Safran and Gunn's way of kind of bookending the Snyder years, utilize an existing comic trope, i.e. the Flash fucking shit up time-wise in Flashpoint, to reset everything. They can keep the bits they want. Maybe they're going to keep Ezra. That seems unlikely at the moment. But, but maybe it was a way for them to subtly introduce Sasha Calle and that way I don't know.
I just feel like you could do that by just rebooting the whole thing, which, let's face it, that's what comics do all the fucking time. Like, Barry Allen wasn't even the first Flash. Like, I mean, just, you know. Because
there must be, I mean, obviously there's a reason why Momoa didn't get changed over the way Batman did, because he's still got another fucking movie to come.
But again, we're not sticking with Clooney. Like, that's not a thing that is happening. So I think, okay, let's now just talk about the film proper. Okay.
Yep.
I think we've spoiled our cards a little bit. I think it's fair to say, from the sounds of that, neither of us were huge fans of this film.
Oh, look, I'm kind of torn. There's things about it that I did really like, and certainly probably for the first half, I was surprised by how good I thought it was, and how much I was enjoying it.
Oh wow, okay, we differ there. Then
it really petered off, and the things that I didn't like became more and more prevalent the further we went. And the last half an hour I thought was pretty dire, but I was enjoying it at the beginning quite a lot.
That's interesting, because I was not enjoying it at the beginning. I started enjoying it around, the second act, and then again it dipped off in the third.
I was going to say, you don't tell me you fucking enjoyed the CG fest at the end. I won't believe you.
No, I didn't, but I didn't enjoy the CG fest at the start either. I thought that was one of the worst opening scenes to a film.
The bit that I've heard hilariously referred to as the baby shower.
I mean, there's one good thing about this film, which is that Flash puts a baby in a microwave.
That was my favourite sequence in the film.
Oh, I hated it.
The CG was
awful. I mean,
pretty
the CG
bad.
This entire film is
the whole
exceptionally bad. It's very, very, very.
But
bad.
I thought that I did think that Muschietti choreographed that sequence beautifully. I thought it was really quite funny, and unlike, if I'm sort of weighing it up against the equivalent god-awful slow-mo scene in the Snyder Justice thing with the hot dogs and all of that shit.
Yeah.
This was great. The Snyder one was shit, because this actually was well thought out. There was a reason for everything he was doing. I thought it was cleverly stitched together and choreographed. The CG was, it wasn't great, but I didn't mind it in that the way I did later, because I think the CG in that sequence at the beginning, it just seemed like they didn't have enough money to do what they wanted. Whereas the CG stuff later, I just think is badly fucking designed as well. Yeah, I thought the babies and the dog and everything. I thought it was really funny.
I didn't understand what film I was watching. I just thought tonally it just didn't land for me. I just thought it was all over the shop, which I thought a lot of this film was. can we talk time travel for a sec? I just want to. I don't want to shit on things. I just want to get my head around it.
Okay, I'll shit on it.
Here's the only issue that I have with it, which I haven't listened to a lot of reviews, but I haven't heard anyone else mention this, so I don't know if this is the same problem other people are having. How old is Barry Allen? He's what, like 21?
Yeah, he's something like that, because he's gone back. You think he's been the Flash in our present for 4 or 5 years. He's learnt the ropes. He's getting pretty good at it.
Yeah. And
he got his powers as a college student, so he would have been about like 17, 18. So he's got to be early 20s now. And so young floppy-haired version that we meet is, let's say, 18 or something.
Yeah, like 4 years prior, right.
Yeah.
So how far back does he go to save his mother? 10 years? Little longer?
Longer, because at the age where he loses her, he's a child. So he seems to be about 10 or something.
So maybe like 13 years tops.
Yeah,
he's not going beyond the 2000s though. He's maybe going to like 2005.
Yeah, sure.
So how does that change things from the 80s? This is what I don't get.
Let's talk about the spaghetti, shall we?
Because that was
fucking bullshit.
The only thing that doesn't work for me is that he goes.
It's the only thing.
I get the butterfly effect as a concept, right? You change one small thing, something else will change. Chaos,
it doesn't
all that.
Change back to the dawn of fucking time, though.
Exactly. It doesn't change the past. How is Eric Stoltz
Although, to be
now
fair,
in Back to the Future? How is Batman a different person?
They're not even consistent in their inconsistency, because, all right, so they cheekily thumb their nose at fucking Avengers Endgame by saying, well, some people will tell you it branches. That's bullshit. Yeah. It's like the spaghetti. You change one thing, it changes everything in the future, and it, for some reason, changes everything in the past. Or at least everything in the past for maybe 5 years. Because if that was the truth, and it changes everything in the past, the world would be completely different, because it would have changed things back to the fucking Stone Age.
Yeah.
Evolution would have happened differently.
Yes.
It's just such fucking terrible writing.
That's the thing. The point in time to which Flash is going back is not even as far back as Man of Steel. So Henry Cavill is Superman at that point. Like, that isn't changing. Why is that different all of a sudden?
Because apparently everything...
Ben Affleck is an old Batman. He's clearly been Batman for decades by the point we meet him in Batman v Superman.
Conceptually, it makes no sense, and they make no effort to explain it because it's inexplicable. There is no way you can logically ascribe any meaning to this other than the... Time is not linear, does not just explain all of this away. Yes. It doesn't make sense. And then particularly in the end, when there's the whole issue where, okay, but some things are fated. Like, we can't, no matter what we do, we can't save Supergirl and Batman. Oh, this is our canon events from Across the Spider-Verse all over again.
But you've just shown us that you can. You've shown us that you can change the past. Why is this different? This doesn't make sense.
Why are you so important that everything else in the universe can change, but some comparatively insignificant moment in time, just because it happens to involve your family or whatever, that's concrete, carved in stone, and can never be altered. World wars can change. The entire history of Hollywood can change. But this one moment in your timeline, that's sacrosanct. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, 100%.
More time travel nitpicking.
Okay, yep.
All right, so Barry goes back in time and he encountered his earlier self.
Yep.
So we know that happens.
Yep.
Later, in our big fight scene against Zod and co., they fuck up, Batman and Supergirl get killed. So they go, let's go back in time and fix it. So they go back 15 minutes. There's not another Barry and Barry there. There should be 4 Barrys by this point.
Yeah.
Young Barry then goes and repeats that action every, call it 15 minutes,
for infinity.
Until he is an old grey-haired man.
Yeah.
So, doing some quick maths, how many 15 minutes in 50 years?
Yeah.
That battlefield should be wall-to-wall Barrys to the point where you can't fucking move. It should be like a mosh pit of Barrys.
Yeah.
It is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
The writing on this is god. Christina Hodson, I haven't bothered to look up what else you've done, but you're fucking terrible at your job.
Yeah.
Because I think Andy Muschietti did a fairly decent job on the direction. I think the action, unlike Snyder's sort of slow-mo, I think he handled the balance of that quite well. Barry looks fucking ridiculous when he's in that stupid time ball thing. It's kind of his feet aren't touching the ground. He's just kind of dog paddling in the air.
The CG is awful, and I feel bad saying this, and you don't need to be a VFX artist to look at this and say this looks terrible. It's
no, I'm not. No, it
terrible.
looks fucking terrible.
And I feel bad for the crew because I know that nobody wants to put out work like this. But
would they have run out of money? Do you reckon DC or Warner or whoever just went, you know what? I know you're saying you need more money to make this look good, but this is like the death knell of a universe. We're not sinking any more dollars into this because we don't think it's going to do well.
That's the truth is that the studio doesn't care. They honestly don't. Disney don't care. Warner Brothers don't care. None of the big tentpole blockbuster films care anymore. And I mean, honestly, you think back to when the word blockbuster came around, like the 70s, even through to the 90s, a blockbuster was not every other week. Like, that's the point of a blockbuster. You had maybe one in the summer, one another time of year, and that was your block. Now, I mean, how many kind of big tentpole releases have we had already this year?
You're one or two a month.
There's the truth is that they just want to pump them out as fast as they can. Yeah, you look at a film like, to give James Cameron credit where credit's due, you look at Avatar, where this second film has just come out and they spent over 10 years just perfecting the tech behind the visual effects, not even actually starting the effects yet.
Yeah.
No wonder that film looks
I'll
amazing.
criticize him for writing, but probably for nothing else apart from maybe ego, because he's an artist, he takes it seriously, and he doesn't cut corners. And it's that rare that you kind of have to raise your hat to him.
Yeah, 100%. But you look at a film like this where they just want to get it out the door. They just want to, and honestly, it just looks so bad. And I feel so bad for the artists because, like I said,
but the thing is,
to do work like that.
I can kind of explain away the bad-looking CG, and it is bad looking. The baby shower bit at the start, it looks like a video game cutscene from 10 years ago. Yeah. But it's nothing compared to the cavalcade of fan wankery that comes at the end, where you've got just
my God,
painfully awful Christopher Reeve, George Reeves.
Oh, not as bad as Nick Cage.
Oh my God.
Nick Cage is alive, people. If you want to shoehorn in that fan service and show us what Nick Cage's Superman would have looked like.
Can you imagine him saying yes to someone going up to him going, I know this was one of your dream projects and it didn't happen. He would have said, get fucked.
No way.
You want me to
he might have
basically
insisted on having a longer scene, but he would
parody
have done it.
The greatest, regret of his entire career. You want me to just throw me a little freaking bait? Nah, he would have said no.
His chance to get that suit on screen, I don't think he would have cared that it was a minute screen time. Like, his chance to actually do that, like you said, that's his dream. I know that, like, it sucks the movie didn't happen, but he's still alive. Why are we doing this awful CG version that you can tell it's meant to be Nick Cage, but at the same time it looks nothing like him?
If they can't afford to finish the CG, they certainly can't afford to pay him $5 million for a cameo.
I mean, that's fair. That's probably
they're already paying fucking Clooney, and they're already paying 3 A-list actors to play one role of Batman.
I heard that when the initial
I think Gal Gadot gets about $5 million for these cameos now. She's done about 4 in a row.
What is she doing there?
I did like her in this one much more than in Shazam.
for the 30 seconds she's there. Probably about the same amount of screen time.
It's the funniest scene in the movie, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't get it. I heard that end scene with Clooney popping up when they did the test screenings. Must have been like a year ago or something. They've been test screening this film for so long. I don't know how they didn't make it better. That scene wasn't there, and I don't know whether that was them trying to keep this a surprise secret or whether it was something that was added in later.
I think it was because I did hear that it was omitted from the press screenings even recent, and they have done, from what I understand, so many press screenings. It probably contributes to why the box office is so bad because half the planet's already fucking seen it.
Yeah.
But it was omitted from that, and I'm assuming it's so that it didn't leak. It's all I can think.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, that I was just agog watching that. The entire sequence from the moment young Barry starts going back over and over again and is so bad at it, he keeps getting skewered by more and more bits of whatever shit, and to the point where I thought, oh fuck, they brought Savitar in. No, it's just he's covered in this shit. It's not a suit of armor. From that point on, the design of this film was just god awful.
Yeah.
And I know I get, how do you visually portray going back in time? How do you visually portray multiple universes all coming into view at once? And
that was the worst bit. I didn't mind the idea of the Chrono Bowl. I thought
if it didn't look so much like a ice skating gerbil on a wheel, especially when they were doing it backwards and they were just slow-mo doing this and their feet are not touching the ground, and so there's no sense of actual impact or momentum. I thought it looked awful. Yeah. And one of the issues that has always plagued me about these things is when you're representing someone who can travel, forget about going faster than light, when they're just running down faster than the speed of sound, just normal sort of Flash stuff.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me to have them moving in slow motion.
Yeah.
They should be going at normal speed and the world is slowed down.
Yeah.
But yet you're showing this streak of light, and when you sort of look into the streak of light, they're doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you going slowly?
Yeah.
Are we going faster than the Flash now so that he is slowed down to... It's nonsensical.
Yeah.
And that irritated me. That whole sandcastle amphitheater that they used to represent all of time and space so that they could just have flickering scenes. It was like being inside of one of those zoetrope early... that made no sense to me and looked terrible. The fact that the two Barrys had different coloured lightning when they ran made no sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
All the way through, I'm just going, fucking why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have a good time with this movie just about at all. Let's talk. I think the one thing that people on whole seem to be very excited about with this film was Michael Keaton coming back as Batman.
He was good.
So I have to ask this. Is he your Batman? Like, when you think of Batman, is he your Batman?
No, I don't have a Batman.
No, same.
I like Batman, and I've enjoyed bits and pieces through all the different iterations on screen, all the way back to, he's Adam West as a kid. Not that I was a kid in the 60s, but obviously repeats and whatever.
Yeah.
I've kind of liked bits and pieces of all the iterations. I don't have a particular affinity for any of them the way some people do.
Yeah.
Maybe partly because after the first two Keaton Batmans, Schumacher fucking shat that franchise into the ground with the next two. No fault of Kilmer or Clooney, but those films were so god-awfully bad that they kind of taint the Burton stuff, which is a little unfair, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like Bale. I like Harpats. I think, It's Superman. I do. Christopher Reeve is my Superman.
Yeah, same.
I have that, but
Not
I think
Brandon
it's a
Routh.
Tom Welling.
Actually, Tom Welling is my Superman.
I never watched Smallville. Never watched it.
Michael Rosenbaum is not only my Lex Luthor, he is Lex Luthor. They should never cast another Lex Luthor.
Jesse Eisenberg?
No,
I just like to bring people together.
That's my one hope, because I know that him and Gunn are friends. I'm really, really hopeful that we get to see him as Lex Luthor again sometime in the future, because fuck, he's good at it.
Well, he's the right age still, because obviously Smallville was like baby Lex.
Exactly. Oh man! In fact, you know what? Getting him and Welling in a big screen. Oh fuck, that'd be great.
Welling'd be like a fucking Kingdom Come Superman by this stage. He's great. Did you see him in Lucifer? Fuck.
That'd be amazing. And Erica Durance, get her back as Lois Lane. Fuck me dead. She's a babe.
Oh, you know who you're not getting back from Smallville?
Yeah. Yes, she's too busy running her cult.
She'd have to be playing a villain. But I liked Keaton in this. I think he was really good.
I thought he was fine. I didn't like what they did with the character, to be honest. And it's a little bit like I remember there were people loved Force Awakens when it first came out. Like, nobody likes to admit that now, but when that movie came out...
They did the Rian Johnson Luke thing with him.
When that came out, people loved it. But the one criticism people had was, they killed my childhood because Han and Leia are now split up, and that kind of ruins how I saw the story for them. And I don't know...
One in two marriages, kids.
To a certain extent, I feel a little bit of the same here. Like, when we come across him and he's just like hobbling around the mansion and he looks like fucking Big Lebowski, and I don't. It just made me sad more than anything. It didn't excite me. I wasn't happy to see him. I didn't care for it.
It's I'm not sure why they did the full Last Jedi Luke on him. Yeah. Kind of expected Barry to hand him a batarang and have him just toss it over his shoulder. Yeah. I did hear, I think it was Paul Prezula on the countdown said something like, well, they gave him the long hair and the robe so that they can hide the fact it's not him doing all the stunts.
Oh, yes, that's right. Paul did say that. Yeah.
Which is, it's funny, but there might be an element of truth in that for sure.
Yeah.
What did you think of our boy Ezra? Shouldn't say boy. Sorry, they. Yep. I'm going to fuck up pronouns. I'm sorry, people. It's just, I'll do it without thinking. Although he's a bit of a fucking dick, so I don't feel too bad. What did you? I think
he's okay, actually.
Fucking great in this.
Yeah, I actually quite like. Them as the Flash. Yeah,
he split and them literally, because there's two Flash in this. The performance was sufficiently different between the two of them.
Yeah.
But sort of our Barry, the present one, not young, annoying dickhead Barry. I think it's probably the best acting I've seen from Ezra Miller since Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I think there's a lot of him in much. I'm pretty sure that Flash and what's the Fantastic Beasts? I think they're the only Ezra.
Well, that's the big stuff. I think there's a few other. I can't think off the top of my head. There is some kind of lower key things that I've seen, but to me, it's Perks and then it's the big franchise stuff.
Yeah.
But I think this is the best, certainly, of all the franchise performances. I think there's a lot of pathos in this role. It's just the nature of what Barry's doing. There's a lot of emotion in a lot of scenes. Obviously the finale scene in the aisle of the shopping mall or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff, I thought he nailed that scene. I thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah, I agree. Ezra Miller was the one thing about the film that I can say I actively enjoyed. He was the one thing that kept me there, enjoying the film to any extent, because I thought the screenplay was awful. I thought the look was awful. I thought just about everything else was pretty awful. And actually, I don't know her name, but the chick who played Supergirl, I actually quite enjoyed her as well.
Sasha Calle, yeah.
I didn't know that she was coming back as Supergirl, but that's cool to know. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that, and I liked that twist. Obviously, Cavill wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
He's sort of very publicly been embarrassed by being told you don't have the job you announced you do have.
Yeah,
so
this
it's not like you can get him back for a cameo. He would have given you the middle finger and gone, get fucked.
I mean, this film has been... This was filmed ages ago, right? Like, this was delayed due to COVID. Like, this was filmed well before we knew that he was out of the DCEU. So he was already not in this film, I'm assuming.
I really have no idea. And I don't know how early it was, because it seems fairly recent, but I think it's probably at least 1 or 2. It's got to be a year or two since that whole I'm back as Superman, look at the thing in my closet, 2 seconds later, Henry Cavill's out. He's not Superman.
Yeah.
I think that was COVID kind of fucks up timelines, but I think it was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Who knows? So they filmed in 2021.
Oh, so it's who knows? It might be sort of right on the...
Yeah.
I don't know. I did like Ron Livingston taking over from Billy Crudup. I thought Billy Crudup was a bit of a nothing in... I mean, I like him in general, but I thought he was a bit lackluster as Henry Allen in fucking Justice League or whatever it was when we saw him.
Yeah, I love Ron Livingston.
I love.
Ever since Office Space, I'll watch anything with Livingston in it. Yeah,
he was great.
He's an enjoyable, charming dude, I think.
He is. And I think they did a good job of showing how good Barry's childhood was. I think I can't think of... I don't know her name. And
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was a little creepy. Like, I don't know.
Their home life?
I thought
Livingston and she had a really nice rapport. I liked the little in-jokes they showed.
I thought that Barry and her had an odd relationship for mother and son. I just... It's like in Friends when... who is it? Someone's dating someone who's very touchy-feely with their sibling. Is it Ross is dating someone who's... I forget, but it was a little like that for me. I was like...
No, isn't it Rachel's dating some guy and his...
Yeah, maybe
he and his sister take baths together and stuff.
Yeah. Clearly, I haven't watched enough Friends, believe it or not. I didn't find it a believable relationship between the two of them. I felt like even those early scenes, I don't know, I felt like they were trying to show us, they were kind of trying to pull at your heartstrings, and it just came off a bit fake to me. It came
you miserable robot. I bought into it. I thought it was nice.
Nah, wasn't a fan. And the final scene in the grocery store too, when they have a bit of a conversation and he's crying and stuff, I'm like, mate, she would have called the security guard over by now. You are just some creepy guy who's just being a weirdo, looking in her trolley and whatnot. Like, oh man, didn't buy it.
I thought that was a touching scene, but I'm obviously more of a romantic.
All right, so all in all, how are you scoring The Flash?
Oh, look, I've given it 3 on Letterboxd, but it's a low 3. Yeah, it's like a 5.5.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm a 4 out of 10.
Ooh.
It doesn't pass for me. I wouldn't watch this movie again. Like I said, there were elements of it that I liked. I think it actually suffers because I think I was one of the few people in the world who was actually looking forward to this movie. So it didn't... It's not like my expectations were super high, but they were high enough that what I got didn't meet them. So
you know what we did get in this, which I was very surprised at and thought was fucking ridiculous. You know how there's kind of a trope of the superhero landing in films? Even Deadpool kind of made a joke about, they're going to do the superhero landing. It's like, whoa. This is the first time we've had superhero takeoffs Every time Barry goes to run somewhere,
Oh,
he has
yeah.
to do the
Yeah.
fucking...
He does, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You can go fast in the speed of light. You don't need starting blocks before you start running. You
Yeah.
can just start running without a dicky pose. Although on the flip side, when he lost his powers and does
Yeah,
the
that
goofy
was-
run around that was fucking hilarious.
That was the one time in the movie I laughed, in a movie that I think is trying to be... much
How
more
did
of a
you not
comedy.
laugh at Batfleck going, my ego's too big to ever say thank you, and then realizing he's got the lasso of truth? Come on.
It didn't...
That
it
was
didn't get me.
good.
I tell you what, everyone about me knows this. I am the biggest Batman fan... I'm the biggest Affleck fan out there.
You're an embarrassing fanboy for
I
that
think
man.
he could play the shark in Jaws. And I fucking loved Batfleck in the previous times we got him. I did not like him this time around, and I don't know why. I don't know if he was just really phoning it in, but this was...
Is it because you knew we were only getting a few minutes and then we were getting Beetlejuice taking over the reins?
Maybe, but I just thought this was a bad performance from him, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Reindeer Games, fucking fantastic. Like, he was the bomb in Phantoms. Like, Affleck, to me, can just about do no wrong. And he let me down here. I think this is the first time he's done wrong. I just felt like this was a bad turn from him.
I thought he was perfectly... I enjoyed him in this. I enjoyed the Gal Gadot obligatory cameo, which seems to be her entire career now, is just doing 3 seconds on every DC movie.
And Fast and Furious, just stand on a submarine.
That's
for
what it
3
was.
seconds.
I knew there'd been 3 fucking Gal cameos in
Yeah.
as many months, and I couldn't think what the third was. It was fucking
it was
Fast.
just the finale
X.
of Fast X. Oh
When
man,
she
I can't wait
fucking
for the next Fast.
turns
Furious
up in that
movie.
fucking submarine because they're easy to get on the black market. You remember the submarine got blown up in the previous film, so this is a new nuclear submarine that they found somewhere.
Man, I loved that movie.
Fuck that movie.
Good to see our good friend Nick Haskins from Nikolai's Kitchen, who's now also a co-host.
He's a P!
He's a 2 peas in a pod, which is fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing them together, him and Gerald. He's finally on Letterboxd, and his first movie he reviewed was
straight out of the
Fast X.
gates, just fucking
I
thumbing
was
his nose at
very
the
glad
world.
to see that someone else in the world agrees with me.
Oh. I love Nick. He's one of the most wonderful, big-hearted
He is.
people on the planet.
He is.
But he has some fucking terrible opinions about things.
All right, well, what are we getting to next week, mate?
Next week, what are we up to? It's not fucking indie, is it? Jesus.
I think that's the week after.
Thank Christ. I need to prepare myself for that.
How about we get to another top 5 next week, mate?
I love those. Let's do it. Which one?
Oh, you sent me through a good list. What about modernizations? Film modernizations.
Yes.
So, your classics redone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. That's going to be fun.
Oh, I wonder which one of us can squeeze in the most chick flicks. Because when I think of that kind of film, that's where I go to, man. Your Bridget Jones's Diary.
No clues.
Oh, this will be fun. All right, well, that's next week. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at wewatchedathing.com or wewatchedathing@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under the handle at wewatchedathing. If you want to help support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/wewatchedathing, and we'll catch you next week.
See you then.